Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Ion Port. It is proudly brought to you by GOVT Company Limited, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, and Serene Insurance. Also, the media partner is the Business and Financial Times. So, as we always remind you, the Thursday edition of that newspaper, you should be able to read a lot about the maritime industry, particularly what also transpires here. The schedules of the vessels that bring your goods into this country are also published in that newspaper, just as you see on this platform as well. Also tomorrow at 8:30 p.m., GH1 television will broadcast the abridged version of what will transpire here. On Ghana television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m., the abridged version again will be broadcast on that platform. Today we're going to talk about the issue with these salvage vehicles and all of that, and we want to see if we can settle the seeming impasse between or among the dealers of automobile will I say, the dealers in the automobile industry. So the spare parts dealers, the garages, those who are selling the cars, the car dealers, the vehicle dealers, and all of that. Some of them have been raising issues. Some are also comfortable. So we will be digesting. They have had meetings with the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He directed that they follow up with a committee sort of meeting with the Minister in charge of Trade and Industry, Honorable Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen. And then the President was represented by the Secretary, the Executive Secretary of the President, Nana Asante Bediatio, at that committee. They've had some meetings, and it appears that we have some conclusion. We will be hearing from those who partook in those meetings, the outcome so far, and if we are satisfied. Are we moving towards the implementation of the ban on salvage vehicles? What should the public be expecting, and at what time? All these we are digesting right now. In the meantime, we'll return right after the break. Stay with us.
Every now and again, GOVT makes good things happen. This time, GOVT has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOVT Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOVT Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOVT Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOVT Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOVT has that sorted. GOVT, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Sa coronavirus yare no yare a sign pa. So obinya bi na se opo wagu so ana se ohwinti gu so a utumenya yare ni bi.
Okadi ni bahani onaka oyahila ekoji. Ohe banye do. Oba wulo. Ogo bahunu. Oba chine. Eho jamba wohe. Oba na sen kaka. Mekme musunchon. Mekme nuni enihe. Chituma boni nke jemo femo bash chon okadi neko.
Coronavirus infection, the symptoms can range from mild, one of it being asymptomatic. Asymptomatic just means that you may not have any symptoms at all, and the disease process can gradually worsen to be a severe form, the severest being ultimately death. We are expected to sanitize our hands when our hands are not visibly soiled or you can't really see dirt on your hands. If you can see dirt on your hands, the best thing to do is to wash your hands with soap and the running water.
If you're using any of the cloth face masks, always make sure you have a rubber bag ready to receive it when you remove it, or you have a bowl of warm soapy water in which you can place the mask and wash. Wash your mask, dry in the hot sun for at least 5 hours, and apply heat by way of ironing.
Utiliser les ports de Tema et de Takoradi, c'est avoir un traitement rapide et sécurisé de vos marchandises diverses en conteneurs, en sac ou en vrac, ainsi que tous vos véhicules en transit. Le Ghana a construit un parking bien pavé pour tous les véhicules en transit. Une nouvelle gare frigorifique pour le stockage de la marchandise congelée en transit. Avec un nouveau centre de traitement de données construit et la mise en œuvre efficace d'un guichet unique national qui permet aux données d'être accessibles par tous les intervenants, le traitement des dossiers dans les ports du Ghana est maintenant efficace et plus efficient. Utiliser les ports du Ghana, c'est profiter des systèmes de portes électroniques et d'exploitation des terminaux, ainsi que de la réservation des navires en ligne, entraînant ainsi un parc de camions fiable pour un acheminement de vos marchandises dans les brefs délais avec un suivi satellitaire jusqu'à nos frontières.
Les femmes, à vous les honneurs.
Les ports de Tema et de Takoradi célèbrent la femme. Que les bienfaits de cette célébration apportent plus de bénédictions.
Welcome back to Eye on Port. So as I mentioned before the break, we are talking about trying to settle the impasse between or on the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles that is following a couple of meetings that have been held between government side as well as the other stakeholders, the private stakeholders, so the Vehicle Dealers Association, all sort of the spare parts dealers and all of that. They have been meeting government, trying to understand what the law is all about so that when the implementation begins, there won't be a problem to that. So my guest already in the studio, and he's going to be the only one in the studio, is Opoku-Agyeman Joshua. Joshua Opoku-Agyeman is the General Secretary for Vehicle and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana, VADAG. Josh, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
How be?
By grace, Wadi.
A strong Vanda.
Sharp.
Okay, that's why you've been causing wild issues around there.
Truth stands.
Okay, so joining us also virtually is Clement Boateng, is a co-chairman of Bosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association and acting vice president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. It's called GOVT. Also will be joining us virtually Nana Osei-Bonsu, regional chair of the Ghana National Association of Garages. And then we are also going to be joined on the line shortly by another association that is, do we have them? Okay, so that's Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. They are also going to join us, Automobile Union Dealers of Ghana. Their president is Eric Kweku Boateng. Eric Kweku Boateng may be joining us. Okay, so what is all this about? Now we are getting understanding that from customs that from 1st November, vehicles that are salvaged, and there's a definition for this salvage according to the laws of Ghana, are not allowed into this country. This is a huge one because it means that from 1st November, if you've got any of that kind of vehicle coming into this country, you won't be allowed to bring it in here. And people have begun importing. We just have few months to get into November. And so we have consistently, beginning the month of July, sensitizing people that this is something that is there. Begin to know it, understand it, be clear with it so that you can comply with the laws of our country. Customs was here. They gave in-depth understanding of what the law seeks to do, and they assure that come 1st November, they are going to commence the implementation of this particular law if nothing changes. So if we leave all circumstances the way they are, customs from 1st November would not allow you to clear your car that is salvaged per the definition, a car that's been soaked in flood, car that's been bent before, car that has small broken lights, will not be allowed into the country. Ubugu is laughing. Small, you will not be allowed to bring it into the country. Let's listen to customs on that bit and come back to the studio.
The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority has emphasized that from the 1st of November 2020, it will commence the enforcement of the law that bans the importation of salvage vehicles into Ghana, barring any unanticipated circumstances. Speaking on Iron Port, the state agency mandated to supervise imports stipulated, however, that for vehicles over 10 years of age, it will require the finance minister in consultation with the minister responsible for trade through a legislative instrument to specify a date on which a motor vehicle of such nature will not be allowed into Ghana after some conditions stipulated in the Customs Amendment Act, Section 154, Clause 2, are met.
The prohibition against the importation of salvage motor vehicles into the country under paragraph B of subsection 1 of section 58 shall come into force 6 months after the date of the coming into force of this act.
And the date of the coming into force of this act was 30th of April.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
6 months after,
yes,
will be 30th of October.
That's correct.
So if there's any commencement at all, it should be 1st of November.
That's correct.
The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority explained that for every used vehicle that will be brought into the country from 1st November 2020, shippers or importers will be required to provide a clean title, as well as ensure that the cars are not wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrence.
The other ones are, one, the specification of the date where Chapter 87 of the first schedule of our customs tariff, and that is the heading 8703, 8704, where the duty rate is supposed to go up to 35%. That has to be on the basis of a legislative instrument. The law is looking at the number of ways that vehicles get damaged. So you look at the flooding, you are looking at collision. It is so all have been covered, so that leave it to anybody's judgment to say that, oh, this one can go, this one will not go. No.
The customs officials further explained what importers of vehicles are expected to provide before clearing used cars in order to prove that they are not salvaged from 1st November 2020.
In our case now, where we are going to have the automotive industry, the Ghana Standards Authority is playing a role, where they are going to be looking at other aspects of it.
Yeah.
The certificate of conformance, they will look at it for used cars, and they are going to be looking at homologation certificate. For new vehicles, they will require the importer or the owner to provide a homologation certificate.
Yeah.
But for used vehicle, he's supposed to present a certificate of conformance to be able to clear them.
They emphasize that importers from now should begin to weigh the caliber of vehicles that they import into the country.
Usually when they buy the vehicles, they employ the services of shippers, shipping agents, who are able to help them to go through the documentation. So these people are a main source of information for them. So once your shipper gets to know that in Ghana, this is the requirement now, he needs to do that as a matter of requirement to be able to ship the car to Ghana. The time of importation is, in customs, is the time that the ship docks and reports, it makes an official report to customs that it has docked. Now, after that, after 1st November, if the ship comes after 1st November, it means it's time barred. So it means that the law will catch it.
The customs top hierarchy also explained why some specific vehicles, including those designed for transport of persons other than those under the heading 87.02, including station wagons, racing cars, and motor vehicles not exceeding 5 tons for the transport of goods, will attract 35% import duty.
The manufacturers, they are doing their business. And then when they come, it has to be attractive enough. So the government has looked at a lot of parameters as to how to go about it. So if you are allowed to bring in the vehicles, which they think they should be doing at this point, it's not going to help the business aspect of the industry that the government is trying to prop up.
Yeah.
So that is why some of these conditions have been put in place.
Yeah.
If you're able to meet them, if you want to still import, you pay the 35%. If not, we have alternatives here for people to buy.
You must avert yourself to the intendment of the law.
Yeah.
The law was to provide incentives for the automotive industry.
The local one?
Yes, the local one, the assemblers and the manufacturers. Now, if the import duty remains low, how are they going to be able to compete with these? And of course, you have to give them incentives so that they can then invest, and then they would also have a return on their investment.
They explain that this will not contravene the ECOWAS regional protocols, which pegs customs external tariffs for vehicles at 20% import duty. They also explain that about 70% of all imported vehicles are already used, and about 90% of imported used cars are salvaged.
There are about 450,000 vehicles, according to the 2017 statistics.
450,000.
About 70% of this is used vehicles.
I see.
Which is about 315,000 used vehicles. Yes. A majority of this constitute the salvage vehicles.
I see.
Because a lot of them are coming from the US, Canada, so which are mostly the salvage vehicles.
The official said that there are options to place some responsibility on shipping lines to ensure that they don't carry vehicles that do not have the clean titles or are seen to be salvaged.
Carriers also have responsibilities. Shipping agents have responsibility to their clients. Now, the laws that obtain in Ghana, the shipping agent ought to know. Now, when he knows or she knows, she would then advise his client, from 1st November, you cannot ship salvage vehicles to Ghana.
Into Ghana.
And then the carrier too would be seized with that information. Once you are seized with that information, it is incumbent on you not to bring the cargo. Once you bring the cargo on you, then you'll be liable.
If you look at it, it's talking about physical damage, which is visible. So once there's physical damage, the person presents his documents and he doesn't have a clean title, he holds a salvage title. I don't think the shipping line, the shipper himself should be able to put, no, it shouldn't be possible for him to process it.
They said though the Ministry of Trade has done some analysis on the impact of the policy on customs revenue among others, they believe that the overall effect on the national economy far outweighs the sacrifice.
The policy itself, the benefits that in the long term that would accrue to the
entire state
would be far greater than the revenue that we are going to earn. Just
lose in the interim.
Yes. And it's just not salvage vehicles, as you have heard the honorable members speak about, also are responsible for some of the accidents that we see on our roads.
We raised some of these concerns that when they are seized, what happens? We still auction them, which is low. It's an issue that the Ministry of Trade knows, and it will be handled. They are not vehicles that will also be given out to people to use.
According to the officers, government is firm on implementing this particular ban on salvage vehicles and therefore hope that the public will be able to start observing the need to avoid such vehicles.
Even when we banned used fridges, And then we had to postpone, and then we postponed, and we postponed several times over. I think this time round, it appears that government is firm on this.
They had a general advice for the Ghanaian public.
Now, anybody who intends to import should be reminded that if the cargo arrives before the 1st November, then he's within time. But if it's after that, then it means time bad.
Okay.
Now, don't assume that things are going to change. Work on the basis that the law is going to stand.
Yeah.
And then you will not fall foul of the law.
That's the advice from Customs. So ever since that period, the men in uniform, that's Customs, as well as the stakeholders and the ministry, as well as the presidency, led or represented by the Executive Secretary to the President, Nana Asante Bediatu, have been meeting the stakeholders on all the issues that have come out of this, because some dealers or some sections of the stakeholder groups have raised issues when it comes to this particular law. We're going to find out what has panned out so far, where we have concluded, what we have reached. Eric Kwekubwating is the president of Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana. He was in that meeting as well. Also here, Opoku-Agyeman Joshua Opoku-Agyeman, General Secretary, Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana, was in that meeting as well. Also on the line, Clement Boateng, co-chairman, Aboso Kain, Spare Parts Dealers Association and acting vice president of GOVT. He's also on the line. He was also part of the meeting. I'll start with Eric Kwekubwating, president of ADAG. Mr. Boateng, good evening. Okay, so you were part of the deliberations and the meetings that sought to bring some clarity and understanding to this law. Run us through it. We can hear you.
Yes, I'm part of the committee which formed against this particular policy. So anything about this policy, I know my members. There I have to go back.
Okay.
But we are here purposely to help the nation as well, and also our business. So if you are asking that, that is true. I'm part of the delegation.
Okay. So what do your members make of this particular law?
Actually, across all over the country, members are complaining bitterly concerning these salvage vehicles. And also because our take on this particular issue is three. One is salvage come with a clean title. It's very difficult. And secondly, one with conformance certificate, and also the 35%. So we have a lot of position on it. And as a leader, we spoke and the president said, then we should come and then have meeting with him. Okay. And also told him everything about our concern. And he said we should go and see our minister, that is Alan Kojo Chairman, Honorable. Yeah. So we went to him and also came back to the 0 point that we should be patient for the implementation. There we can, if you have something to do about it, we can enforce the parliament to do that. But at the moment, it's a law. But as the implementation is not up to, we should be patient. So I just go back and tell my members that they should be patient. If anything come out with this policy and is collapsing our business, so far there's a platform for us to showcase our issues. Just be patient. So as a leader and the belief and trust they have for me, we are still waiting for the implementation.
So are you saying that following the meeting with the ministry, you got the understanding of what is expected of you come the time of implementation for which you and your members will comply with this particular law?
Yes, sir, because as he was saying that so far as it's a law, Parliament has been implemented it, and also the President too has been signed. There's nothing as the minister can do about it. So the only thing is that it's a law, but it's not implemented. So if the implementation started, and we thought there's any challenge which is bothering our business, it can intervene. And at the end of the day, as we have leaders, for instance, like Honorable Alan Chairman and also the President, we have to give the salute to them because they are our leaders. Yeah. We have to give that honor to them. And we should be patient to the implementation. So after the implementation, and we didn't see anything up, and you know, we are Ghanaians. We contribute a lot to the conference of you know, the country. So it's very important. If our business is closed, then we will work out. And if the minister said we should be patient for the implementation, and the implementation started, and we didn't see anything about it, we will demonstrate. We will sit down for an hour and reach a Ghanaian and you know, collapsing our and can sit down and just watch it like that. I don't think it can be happening.
Okay, so if I understand you clearly, you have been assured that allow the implementation to take off from November 1st, and then if you have any difficulty or teething difficulties, those will be addressed along the line. Is that what I'm getting from you?
That's right. That's right. And because even the LI, which is the amendment bill, customer amendment bill, the minister had power about, let's take about 60% out of it. Because if you said, if you get something from maybe a car or whatever, and the minister decides, or he has the power to say, okay, I'm starting the implementation by 1 month, 2 years, 3 years, the power first. So, end of the day, he is the minister. That is why the president said we should go back to him. Because the law has given him power to, you know, enforce anything which governs the airline. So, as a businessman, you are crying, and you said you need help. Minister, President, help us. And the president said, okay, 1 or 2 reasons, stations. If the the implementation started, I know what we can do about it. So we have to fold our arms and wait for the implementation.
Okay. Okay. And so have you communicated this to your members and they have understood?
Very well, because they respected their leaders. Okay. So anything which will come from the leaders, they also comply by it. Okay. So they are still waiting for the amendment day.
Okay. Please stand by for us. We're going to go to your other colleagues and then we will get back to you shortly on other areas of this particular law. So Joshua Opoku-Agyeman is the General Secretary, Vehicle and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana. Josh,
sure.
Were you also in the meeting?
Yes, I was present.
Okay. What transpired and what's the level of understanding or clarity and satisfaction you got out of this?
As a matter of fact, I'm not surprised about the submission of my colleague, who happens to be the chairman or the president of ADAC, because during the committee meeting, one could deduce that he was in favor of the implementation, and not him alone. As a matter of fact, we had a representation from Swami Magazine, garages from Kumasi, Swami Magazine as well.
They are also going to speak.
And we had about 2 representations from Abusio Kai. And custom officials were there, people from reps from Standard Authority. And you could realize that attention.
And then any representation from the president?
Yes, he was in the person of Santibe Dietu. And one could realize that all attention and effort was on the fact that VADAC's inputs and suggestions that needed to be addressed. As a matter of fact, the premise on which the emergency committee was instituted or formed in the first place by His Excellency. They were there to basically make sure that our suggested inputs were not going to be heard.
Who was there to make sure your input?
From the submission that my colleague has made, you can really deduce that
what?
he is in favor of the implementation.
Yes, but he also never denied having difficulties with the entire law. He said the difficulties are there, but the fact that he's been assured that following implementation, some of those difficulties will be addressed, is for which reason he is in favor of the implementation.
So would you favor this time around that a fire is set into a business, okay, your source of livelihood, and then later, when damages has been done already, after the fire has been set into the source of your livelihood, then you can now think of how to quench the fire. Have you thought of the implications and the consequences?
But or you were assured that there wouldn't be any fire?
We are all aware that per the law as it stands now, the Customs Amendment Bill, Act 2020, we are all aware that should the implementation proceed on November 1, it means that the products in which Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana are members across the country and affiliates, including those who depend on us for their source of living. That's the value chain I mean. Straighteners, sprayers, can talk about auto air conditioning technicians, you can talk about electricians, you can talk about key programmers, the list is long. All these people are going to halt their businesses and their source of living for a while, whilst we wait.
Really? Is
that
what the analysis depicts?
That is what will happen.
Why?
Because ban on salvage vehicle is initiating on the November 1st.
Yes.
Should nothing be done about the law? Should the law not be amended? So that means that we will have to sit and fold our arms because you can't import any car any longer.
No,
that is the business.
It's not that you can't import any car any longer.
Let me come out clear.
You can't import a damaged car any longer.
Mr. Ajima, let me come out clearly that in the first place, the reason why we, the members of VADAC, as a matter of fact, VADAC is emanating from Home Use Dealers Association of Ghana, which was formed in 2002. It is the longest and the largest mouthpiece of car importers in the country. We've been there and we are still here, okay? And we know what we are saying, that what we deal in, the product we deal in, is that aspect of the salvage vehicle, which is known as the repairable salvage vehicles. The salvage vehicle is just a blank term. What is salvage? Recoverable, okay? Rescuable, okay? All right. And so under it, we have the non-repairable salvage vehicles, which are, in other words, termed as junk titled vehicles. And we have the repairable ones. And we have all these years been dealing in these repairable ones. So if you abandon salvage vehicles under that blanket term,
the repairable ones
and the non-repairable, then basically you are telling me that my source of livelihood and those who depend on me, the value chain, are going to be out of business. So what is the substitute? What work are you giving them?
So
for them to sit and wait?
How did the meeting go for you then? Did you make all of these inputs within the meeting, and what was your feedback?
As a matter of fact, I have a letter
because
here.
we'll come back to some of the issues you have concerns with, but I want to know what transpired from the meeting for you.
Well, for us, after we had presented, I did a presentation on our behalf, after I had presented out the problems and the inputs upon which the President, His Excellency, saw the need to reconvey and form this emergency committee. After putting it across, you could see that as the members I mentioned, including my colleague who is on the line, were all not bringing and focusing on the input or the things that they need, which needs to be amended in the law. Their focus was in attacking the amendments that we seek to be able to protect our businesses. That's what happened. And at the end of the day, it was majority against minority.
So your association was the only one who had issues?
That is the idea which was created.
But why is that?
However,
why shouldn't
while
be
speaking
only
to him,
because
while
they also
speaking to
deal
him,
in the same kind of business.
That is the issue here.
So why
It's
are you the
either-
only one with a problem with
It's
this?
either they have a source of livelihood or they have been promised another source of livelihood should this implementation come off. Either than that, the pressures and the kind of calls myself, my Council of Elders, and the rest of the executives of VADAC are receiving from across the country, from Takrade, from even within Accra here, from Tema, from Kumasi, and even from Swami Magazine, and Abosi Okai, whose reps were on the committee. So you realize that, are they really, really speaking for the silent masses on the ground? This is the question we need to ask. Because if your source of livelihood is going to be taken away from you come November 1, and you are relaxed, saying that you are for the implementation, and that fire should be set to it, and then later we will think about how we will quench the fire.
No, so we will talk about that side, whether indeed fire is going to be set to it, and why the others think that they don't side with the fact that people are going to lose their livelihoods and all of that when it comes to the implementation of this. What I would want finally to take from you, from this preliminary submission of yours before I get to Clement, the Vice Chair of GOVT, will be, what was the take home from the meeting for you? By the time you ended the meeting, what was the conclusion from the Minister of Trade and Industry, and to what extent did you agree?
As a matter of fact, after the meeting, it came to a conclusion that the preconceived agreement or conclusion, which was earlier on stated to us, that there's nothing they can do about the law until it is implemented and then later it is amended. And so that is the preconceived decision that we think came to bear after us. And mind you, it was this same decision which the ministry took after our subsequent meetings with them consistently that led to our press conference, both in Kumasi and in Accra here.
And then you go back into the
and
the
we
next
go back
meeting,
into the next meeting,
and the same conclusion
and the
is
same
made.
conclusion is drawn again.
But the same conclusion may have been drawn after you have been listened to, your concerns have been taken on board, and probably things have been clearly explained to you. Are you then saying that the issues that you raised were not clearly dealt with from the ministry?
You see, there's a letter here, okay, dated on the 21st February, which was sent to the ministry through the chief director. And it was about notifying...
Of the Ministry of Trade?
Yes, it was about notifying the Ministry of Trade about our concerns concerning the automotive development policy from which came the act.
Yeah.
Okay, this letter was on 21st February, and that was the final letter we wrote to the ministry, upon which they now called us to say what we think should be corrected from the automotive development policy, which is not favorable to us. On the 24th, whilst we were still with the ministry, okay, around roundtable discussion, deliberating over our concerns and our input, the bill was sent to Parliament on the 24th of February. And whilst we were still discussing and deliberating, the bill was passed and assented to on the April 30th. So here we are in the view that there's a distinction here which we are so clear in our minds that though there's a term that stakeholder consultation, we have been consulted, fine. But there's a difference between being consulted and the fact that your input or your suggestions are being considered.
Okay, now I've got to drop you, and let me pick Eric, because you see, being virtual from the other side, sometimes if you are not careful, you forget that they are the other end. Those of us in the studio will be engaged in the business. So let me talk to Mr. Clement Boateng. He's a co-chairman of Aboso Spare Parts Dealers Association, and the acting vice chair of the vice president of GOVT, speaking to us online from Kumasi. Mr. Boateng, good evening.
Good evening.
Good. Were you part of the meeting that sought to address this whole disagreement around the law? Okay. Can you turn down the volume of your set, because I can hear myself and it's not good for the. Awesome.
Yes, I was part of the meeting.
Awesome. So kindly let us know what you took out of it, and whether we are all to expect the implementation of this particular law come 1st November.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Since the inception of this automobile development, policy, there has been a lot of talking about various, stakeholders that are engaged in this automobile value chain, and because a lot of the stakeholders, had expressed some concerns regarding, especially that had to do with the accident cars. There were a lot of agitation from various stakeholders, and then the president, stepped in and called for a meeting. So, all the stakeholders, went to the Jubilee House and then engaged with the president. And as part of the engagement, the concerns that has been raised, which have to do with the duty of 35%, the certificate of conformity, and then the definition of the salvaged vehicle came into force. So after listening to the presentation, which was done by my brother, sitting there, the president made us to understand that he will not bring in any law that will not be in the interest of the indigents. And so, after listening to the presentation, he made us to understand that he, being the president, does not even have the power to even amend the law.
Yeah.
If anything, it has to go back, to Parliament, for Parliament to reconsider it. So then, he charged Minister of Trade, to form a committee for us, for him to look into the concerns and the grievances that we have presented, and then see the way forward. So the committee was formed, which I was a member. My mother sitting there was also a member, and then the other, stakeholders. So we want to engage with the trade minister, and then these concerns, were laid before him again. So it was there that he retreated what the president said, that he being the president does not even have the power to even amend the law. And he being the trade minister, if he will even have to, do anything, the law must be implemented. After its implementation, then those concerns that we have raised, tabled before Parliament for them to reconsider, amending the act. So basically, that was what happened. And after ending anything, we all agreed that we should wait for the implementation, to start, so that whatever that we have raised will be tabled before Parliament for the amendment to be considered. So basically, that was what happened.
Okay, and have you communicated to your members to this effect, that the fact that the law must definitely commence, the implementation of it must commence?
Yes, we've communicated it to our members. Even in Abosokan, we had a general meeting there just this last Thursday,
okay.
And then I took time to explain it to my members. They well understood it.
Everybody, all your members at Abosokan have understood?
Yes, because like I'm telling you, there was a general meeting there last Thursday.
Okay.
A general meeting there last Thursday. All our members were there, and then I explained everything to them, and they all understood it. In fact, they were not clear of the salvage vehicle. So I explained it to them. That is, the bone of contention is. But I took time to, explain everything to them, and they understood it and told me that they will wait for the implementation to start. After the implementation, then they will be looking forward for the amendment. But if the amendment doesn't happen, then they will start the agitation again.
But the last time you were in the studio, you also said and reiterated exactly what you have just said, that the salvaged meaning was a little bit confusing for you. It wasn't clear for you and for your members as well. So it is basically the bone of contention, as you have just said. Has it been made clearer to you now?
Yes. I've made it clear to them.
But have you also understood it clearly?
Oh yes, they've understood it. They've understood it.
Okay, so what is your understanding of that section that says that if that by the insertion after the definition for restricted goods of salvaged motor vehicle means a motor vehicle which has been wrecked, destroyed, or physically damaged by collision, fire, water, or any other occurrence, and does not have a clean title?
Yes.
To what extent have you understood that and communicated that effectively to your members?
Yes, that is exactly the point I am making, because that is also the issue that they raised, because you were saying if a car is involved in an accident and maybe has a part or a fender or a headlight, damage, you don't see the reason why those cars must not be allowed to be brought into the country. So I made them to understand that is the point we also have been raising whenever we have opportunity to meet the policy makers. So they have assured us that that aspect of the law, will be taken into consideration when the implementation starts, and then it is being taken back to Parliament for amendment to be effected. So they've understood it, and we don't have any problem with that.
Okay. The reason I keep, and I'll bring it back again, I keep pushing you to ensure that you understand, is that you communicate to your members quite often and you engage them. So it will be important that you understand and they also understand. The last time Customs was here, they equally educated myself and a lot of other people that what we are going to see is that if you take that section of the law, I think it's supposed to be 151, is it? Yeah, it's 151. 151.4c. What it does is that it puts the two situations are not mutually exclusive. So you need to have, the car doesn't have to be salvaged, which qualifies under the B, and it also must have a clean title. So you are required to meet two conditions. The first is that the car must not be wrecked, it must not be destroyed or physically damaged by collision or fire or water or any other occurrence. And then the second part, which is not mutually exclusive, that it does not have to, or it does have to have a clean title. It does. You must have a clean title. So this is what we are expecting, or Customs is expecting your people or Ghanaians to comply with. That by 1st November, don't bring a car that has any of these things. No dent, no nothing. Broken light, not accepted. And all of that. And we will get into that details because Standards Authority have also given us some conditions to follow when it comes to the definition. And then, in addition to all that damages, you should have a clean title. Customs made that clear. Do we understand it clearly like this? And have your people agreed to this?
Yes, like I was telling you, this forms part of the concerns that has been raised. The concerns are three: the duty, the certificate of conformity, and then the definition of the salvage vehicle. And like I told you, I took time to explain these issues to them on just this last Thursday, and they've all understood it.
Okay.
They've all understood it. Let them to understand that at the moment there is nothing that can
anybody can do. Yeah.
Yes, there's nothing that anybody can do unless
as we've been assured by the trade minister, unless the implementation. And then when the implementation starts, then those are our concerns, will be before the parliament and to be effective. Because we made the minister to understand that if those things are not taken into consideration, definitely the agitation will set in again. And he assured us that the order in him, to table it before parliament for any amendment to be effected. So we shouldn't worry. So we take the minister's word and then, wait for the implementation. After the implementation, the issues will come out again, and then we see what can be done.
Okay, I think that is clearly understood. So the law is already a law. No one can alter it unless Parliament does the amendment, and that would take a while. I'm sure that by which time the implementation would have commenced. But Clement, you in particular, you are very important in this line of discourse because you were part of the beginning stages of the formulation of the automobile policy itself that led to this act. Would you say, and a lot of you, and I have gotten a lot of clarity that justifies this particular section of the law, would you say that per the deliberations, the understanding you've had, you've been taken to South Africa, seen modules, do you not agree that this is the way to go? Because I don't want you to sound like there is a problem and we are waiting for the commencement of the law, then we'll solve the problem. Is there a problem?
Samuel, you see, like I told you the other time, every country, needs industrialization.
Yeah.
And yes, and for that matter, Ghana cannot be left out.
Yeah.
We cannot remain static and then be at one place that we are. The country must move forward. I think the other time I told you that just at our here, Cote d'Ivoire, they are doing Sudan at 5 years.
Yeah.
They are doing Brussels at 7 years. They are doing trucks at 10 years. If you go to Kenya, Kenya is doing across board 8 years. Next year, 2021, Kenya is going to do it at 3 years. If you go to Morocco, Morocco is doing it 5 years across board. So how long? And if you are doing something, you must definitely consider, best world practices. And this time around, because Ghana is an African country, we have to consider countries in Africa that are, doing or employing the same, automotive policy. We didn't go to Europe to consider countries over there. We considered countries in Africa here. You see, so I don't see the reason why that some of our members still wanted, to remain where we are. If it happens like that, then it means the country cannot move forward.
Okay.
It cannot move forward.
So,
in coming out with this policy, the local content was also taken into consideration. The local content, takes about, I think, 65 to 70%. And that is going to create a lot of employment for the indigenous.
So the assertion that was made by Joshua with me in the studio here earlier that once the implementation of this law takes off, some of your folks are going to be affected and their livelihoods will be in danger. What do you say to that?
I don't subscribe to that argument because still the fact that service cars are going to be allowed to be brought into the country, 1 to 10 years cars are still going to be brought in, and they still have the opportunity to bring in those cars. And those our brothers, who he is referring to as sprayers, welders, mechanics, so on and so forth. The cars which are in the country, doesn't they involve in accidents? They involve in accidents. They go to workshop often. So still, they will still be in business. And like I told you, the policy also takes care local content of about 65 to 70%. Some of these people will still get employment, in that aspect. So I don't see the point that he's making that a lot of people are going to be thrown out of employment. It's never like that.
It's never like that.
Okay, and coming from you, this is very important because you also leading the spare parts dealers who are involved in most of these artisanal areas. I would have you hold on a little and come back to Joshua in the studio. Josh, so now let's get into your problems. What difficulty does your member or the member association, the group that you have, what are your problems?
Because
Clement says that he doesn't see the reason why you should have any.
Before I get to that, I want to respond to some of the issues that Clement Boateng, my brother, raised. As a matter of fact, he has made us to understand that nothing can be done.
That's the first one. And
yes.
Indeed,
he's saying nothing can be done.
Do you think can something be done? It's law. It has to be amended by Parliament.
Of course, it can be done because it needs to be amended, and it can be amended at any time.
The process
there
would
is
have to be initiated.
Certificate of emergency.
The process
the
would have to be
president can issue a certificate of emergency to make sure our concerns are considered. In this case,
that is if your concerns are huge enough for the president to take that initiative.
There was a law which was to ban, bring into force toll levy. What's happened to that law? It was passed. What's happened to that one?
Because significant case was made for it not to be effective.
Is there no significant case enough?
Have you made that case?
For members who will be affected, should this law be implemented? We are talking about not less than 7,700 people across the country who are under our membership.
Yeah.
And mind you, there's a freedom of association. Not everybody is under our union.
Yeah.
I hope you get it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the value chain. He is saying, Mr. Boateng is saying tonight that he's been able to explain to his followers. I mean, the spare parts dealers in Abossey Okai everywhere.
And that's a huge number as well.
A huge number. He's been able to explain to them that...
And at the moment, he's talking to us from Kumasi too, so...
Exactly. So he's been able to explain to them that partially their job is going to be on a low. Why do I say partially their job is going to be on a low? How many of Ghanaians daily or seasonally buys these spare parts in quantum from them? If not car importers, people who import the slightly dented cars, people who import the repairable salvage vehicles that we are fighting for.
No, but you see...
Are they going to now stock their warehouses and wait till the amendment, the necessary amendment are made so that business could boom for them any longer?
No,
because with this assemblies who are coming, excuse me,
okay.
With these assemblies who are coming, we all know that VW, for instance, has its showroom already.
Yeah.
It has its franchised, given out already to Universal Motors.
Yeah.
They have a spare parts dealership already.
Yeah.
And so, if he is saying that he is for the implementation...
But I would say that on that, and the CEO, God willing, will be here next week of VW.
Sure.
But what they've also said that they are going to franchise their parts and all of that. Kantanka was here just last week, seated where you are, and said that they are franchising their parts. So it's not as if they are not going to monopolize their parts. So their parts will be available. That aside, Clement made a very important point that I want you to also sort of process and see if it makes any meaning to you. Now, he says that the fact that people are not bringing necessarily accidented vehicles or damaged or salvage vehicles does not mean that people are not going to need spare parts. It doesn't mean that sprayers are not going to spray. Even if you bring a new car, you can still dent it along the way and still need somebody to spray it. You still go and look for a handle or something. So you can bring any second-hand car within 10 years of space, so long as it is not damaged. Once you get here, it doesn't mean that along the line you can never have the car damaged. And if you have it damaged, you still need the same artisans to fix them for you. So why do you think that their jobs are out?
So for now, the followers and the members of Mr. Clement Boateng are going to bet their life and source of livelihood on whether it will or not. They are going to bet their life on gambling. Whether these clean cars, which we are expected per the new law to bring in, which in the first place, clean title, it means it hasn't been involved in any form of accident, not even a scratch. And so these cars will come in.
Or if it has been fixed and fixed well.
No. Clean titles, no. You can't have it that way. Because if it is, when we say clean title,
if you have replaced a light.
It has clean title, basically. And the certificate of conformance to attach to it basically is letting you be aware that you can't import into the country any car which has been involved in an accident before.
If you have replaced a light, you get a clean title.
No.
Oh, you are telling me if you have replaced a light, you don't get a clean title?
If you have replaced,
yes,
there will be a registration in the exporting country. And the registration will bear the fact that it has been involved in an accident before, and so it's not a clean title. You can ask anybody. I hope you get me. And so if we import these clean sole titles, vehicles into the car, into the country, tell me, what will be the business, the quick business, and that kind of flow of business for these sprayers and straighteners until there's an internal accident? And mind you, when you call some of them online, they will tell you they survive, or their business is surviving basically on us. And the members belonging to Mr. Clement Boateng will also call in and tell you that their business is surviving because we are there.
Because you bring the damaged vehicles.
The damaged vehicles, that needs to be repaired. Because a car importer, a salvage car importer, or a repairable salvage car importer like us can stand on his feet and purchase goods worth about 10,000 Ghana cedi or 5,000 Ghana cedi for about a fleet of 10 cars from Abosiokai. And are you telling me that you go to market today and today somebody comes and buys a tail light because he had a crash with an Okada, and somebody comes and buys a used fender because there was a crash with a metro bus? What are we talking about here?
No, but that's I want you to.
So the impact is going to be great. We shouldn't.
Perhaps that is the way you have to put it. Perhaps that's the way I wish that you frame it. Yes. That there would be a significant impact, according to you.
And eventually,
however, that does it necessarily mean that livelihoods of those folks are going to be thrown out? Because if there would be some amount of work that still needs to be done with whether a new car, a brand new car, or a car that's old but will eventually get some accident or get broken along the line. Because even if you start using a fresh car, very fresh car, along the line, 2, 1, 3 years, you definitely have one problem or the other.
And the problems,
and you need
the problems that you have with these brand new cars, mind you, there's a warranty 3 years or 100,000.
That is if you are dealing with a brand new car, but there are second-hand cars that are still going to be coming in.
Second-hand cars that will be coming in, we are saying that the product that we deal in are not these clean title cars that we bring in. We don't bring in clean title. Majority of us don't bring clean title.
And have you considered the?
We don't, because we are talking about business here. We're talking about profitability here. We're talking about affordability, where the masses of Ghanaians.
But have you also considered the arguments that are being put forward both by government and some of your colleagues about the risk that we are putting the citizens into when we bring some of these cars that are virtually half broken, half damaged, and they are soaked in flood and
those cars, as I said, belong to the non-repairable junked title.
No, there
vehicles.
are some that are repairable, but they look very, and the producer will be rolling a few on the screens there.
They will tell you repairable, but the title of that salvage should indicate it. And that is how come members of VADAC, we can boldly say that majority, if not all our members, the cars that we import in are those rebuilt salvage vehicles or repairable salvage vehicles. These ones sometimes, let me explain further. You know, sometimes some of these cars are engaged in theft. Okay, you have
like a stolen car.
A stolen car. You've insured your car and then it's being stolen. To be able to purchase a new car while the security agencies
you have a broken engine like this and all of that.
You see,
it's
some of these cars,
though, but you
see,
don't think they're risky?
You see some of these cars, you see this one is the fender which is gone. This one bumper,
there are some here,
grill.
bumper, those are cooked,
you see, and those ones, if you see, let's create this issue here, where people will now begin to understand that it's a form of assembling that Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana also do in the country.
Yeah.
But this time around, we assemble used vehicles. Okay. We don't assemble brand new vehicles.
Okay.
If these cars come in, okay, we get brand new parts.
Okay.
If it's a fender, you buy brand new. If it is a bumper, you buy brand new. If it is an upper grille, you buy brand new from our brothers from Abusukai and get it refixed and reassembled and rekitted. I hope you get me.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, we are doing a form of assembling, and we have our own value chain employees that we deal with at the moment. What work are they going to be in now? Are they all going to be moved?
Alternatives.
Are they, yes.
You have to look at alternatives.
And what alternatives has the government provided for us?
Alternatives? What alternatives have you proposed? Assume that
for the implementation.
Assume that you're requesting or you're pushing for some alteration or some amendment of a sort to be done to the definition of the salvage, because I'm not sure that you're asking that the entire thing be scrapped, that we take out the whole clean title bit or salvage thing out. What are the alternatives are you proposing? Are you saying that repairable salvaged should be considered?
Exactly, because these ones have salvage titles which are indicated on them that they are repairable.
Okay.
Rebuildable.
Okay.
Some of them
so
are
those
even
are the
repossessed.
ones you wish that the law say allows us to bring in.
Exactly. Some of them are even repossessed. As I said, they are repossessed by these insurance companies. Not from issues as in accident, but from issues of abandonment. Let's say a drug lord is being chased out and he abandons his car and then, leaves the country. His car will be under a salvage title.
Okay.
And these cars, you can't tell me these cars are wrecked or destroyed. You and I can say that. I hope you get me. And even in the country in which we live, should a V8 have a collision, a minor collision with an Okada, will you tell me that those cars will be titled as salvage and then junked? No. They'll be fixed and will be on the road.
The certificate of conformance and the clean title definition, we would need some breakdown and understanding from Standards Authority specifically, and I think that they released something. I'll get it and then break it down clearly, because I doubt that it's looking at the fact that even if the car is fixed from home or from origin, it would not be allowed in here. If
it wouldn't have a
all
clean
those
title.
details are the ones, let me even ask Clement.
It wouldn't have a clean title.
Clement. Hello, Mr. Boateng. Do we have Mr. Boateng? Okay, let's.
It wouldn't have a clean title, as I said, because normally when customers, automobile customers outside the country, North America.
Okay, I think Clement is back. Hello, Clement.
Hello.
Yes, Clement.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to find out from you what qualifies a car to have a clean title from your definition, because I thought that, I mean, if I have replaced a light, for instance, from the country of origin, I should be able to secure a clean title. That is, even if the car is not involved in an accident, I just changed my lights because it wasn't in a good shape and all that. Should that deny me a clean title? What guarantees you a clean title?
No, this clean title certificate is being issued, over there.
Yeah.
And yes, and we all know that over there, when the car is involved in an accident, it's very difficult, sometimes to get the clean title to be issued, and that is the more reason why our brothers, are calling for a second look regarding that clean title. And in that aspect, we share it with them. You see, all the issues that they have raised, we share it with them. But we just want everybody, to take the word of the minister that we should allow the act to be implemented. Then after that, whatever concerns that we have raised will be taken care of. We share with them the concerns that we have raised, because we all know that over there, when a car is involved in an accident and you want to bring it, you want to bring it here, second title will not be issued. But those cars, find its way here. And we all know that it goes a long way, to boost their business. And that is the more reason why we have raised those concerns. We share those concerns with them. But I don't understand why, you just made a submission that a certificate of agency, can be raised to be looked in that aspect. But it is not every time that a certificate of agency, can be raised to have a look at it where the implementation, has not started. We should all know that, those assemblies who are also coming here have made huge investments. And according to the minister, some, that they also raised, has to do with, this second-hand, cars. They are even wanted them to even ban them at all, so that no second-hand car will be brought into the country. Because once they've been given, targets, to produce, they expect that, sales will be made, on those targets that they are going to produce. So if we have huge number of second-hand cars in the system, who will go and buy the new ones. But the minister also made sure that those at least the concerns that the assemblies have raised, they also will be met in halfway. So I just want to play with my brother over there that they should remain calm.
You should cool down.
Remain calm. They should cool down. Yes, they should cool down. Let the implementation start, and then we are sure whatever the minister has probably said, will be looked at, and then those concerns, something can be done about it.
Okay, but I think we also need to let your members, or you should let your members know that in saying that we should let the implementation start is to say that we should comply and conform. So even though you are hoping that some areas will be sort of amended, that is, if you are hoping so, people should still comply. Because you can't gamble with it, you can't bring it and hope that you'll be conceded and some customer, because the customs people made it clear when they were here last week that they will not compromise anything for the law.
Yes. On the Thursday meeting that I had with my people, I made a date known to them.
Okay.
That if you have any vehicle, that maybe your brother or your sister is over there and wants to bring into the country, you should make sure that the vehicle comes here and it is cleared by 31st of October. Otherwise, when it's 1st of November, I'm sure the vehicle will be confiscated. So I made them clear. So I'm sure everybody has said it, and whoever wants to bring in any car, this is the right time for him or her to bring the time, so that will not be taken by the law.
Okay. So a lot of people want to contribute. I see the +44 numbers calling a lot more from the United Kingdom, I guess. And then on Facebook, quite a number of questions have come in. The number that you can call at the appropriate time is 020-552-8353. 020-552-8353. It is supposed to be on the screens. The number that you can WhatsApp is 055-901-9177. 055-901-9177 is the number that you can WhatsApp us on. So this comment from Facebook already says that and I'm sure that it's going to you. Say, hi, bro. Dauda Jawara Salifu. We have all been to the United Kingdom. Have you ever been to the New Chester Salvage Car Park? Some are just with scratch, but it's a salvage park. Please, what is not good for the whites is not good for the blacks as well. And from Nana Chile, what is not good for the white is not good to the black, good for the blacks. Go to New Chester Salvage. Okay, it's almost the same thing. He says that when people don't want it, why do you bring them into the country? Now, basically, this is a direction, and Clement also raised it, that we're all trying to sanitize the transport system. Why do we continue to entertain some of these if we are moving forward?
Sammy, let me tell you, there's a cross-check somewhere that, you know, with Statista, it's a research department. And during last year, they researched into the number of people in the United States and in the UK who prefer to buy home-used vehicles vis-a-vis brand new ones. And you'll be shocked and amazed
that what?
At the report.
What did they say?
As at 2019, this report was released just this year. It was released this year, July 16th, 2020. And you'll be amazed that the new sales of these cars were just 17 million pieces. They were able to sell 17 million pieces in US. With all these assemblers, with all these manufacturers, they were able to sell 70 million pieces of cars. Okay?
Of these salvage cars?
I'm talking about brand new
cars brand new
in
cars,
the United States.
Okay.
And then people and consumers, drivers, also bought 40.8 million pieces of used vehicles. Sammy, these used vehicles that we are talking of, pertaining to this North American research that I'm looking at, I don't know if you'd want to go online to look at it. It's from Statista, yeah. And you realize that this 40.8 million pieces of home-used vehicles, majority of them are from refurbished, recovered, rebuilt cars. Okay? And they are sold to people in America on their roads. How many assemblers and automobile manufacturing companies don't we have in America? We have a lot of them.
So
however,
bottom line, you're saying that they also use it.
The thing is, you see, when we are bidding on these cars online, we bid with people in that jurisdiction, from people from UAE, Dubai, to be specific,
they also use it,
who do racketing of repairable salvage vehicles. So what are we talking about here? Are we saying we are so much developed and industrialized, in quote, than United States of America or the UK? I also have another research on UK. 74% of people who bought car last year, okay, from the automobile industry in UK, bought cars which were used. As I'm sitting here,
I think there's a difference.
What's the difference?
The difference is that the law is not saying don't bring a used car. It's saying that don't bring a salvaged one, accidented one, a damaged one.
Brother.
So the used ones are going to come in nonetheless.
We very know that even in the US or in UK, clean title vehicles are expensive to get. Even in there, they are expensive to get.
But for your security,
and you are security, are we talking about the fact that all the road accidents which do occur in Africa are because of the vehicles we bring, the salvage vehicles, the 2016s, the 2014s, Corollas that we bring, the 2010 or 2008 Toyota Corollas that we bring in, that cause those accidents? No, the cars that we bring in, you can see that with mileage-wise, they are okay. Nothing wrong with the frame, nothing wrong with the engine. It all boils down to maintenance culture. That is it. Don't we find used, okay, and very old cars on the street of Britain? Don't we?
Yeah.
It's all about maintenance. How we get me? It's all about maintenance. So we believe that they should allow us to thrive together with these brand new assemblies, car assemblies. And then there will be competition. We will spoil the customers with choice. Because mind you, the automobile industry should be treated in such a way that we are looking at it like buy homemade or Ghanaian cultured goose or that kind of thing. If I may bring it down, are we saying that assembling a car here automatically attributes to our culture or attributes it to Ghanaians? No, VW is not a car.
Of course, but that's not
Toyota
what has been
is not a car.
That's not what has been communicated.
No, we shouldn't make it seem like grow rice in Ghana.
No, but that's not what has been communicated.
Rice which is grown in Ghana here.
That's not what has been communicated. You are still allowed to bring whatever from anywhere. It shouldn't be above 10 years. It shouldn't be damaged. That's what is being communicated.
If you are being told not to bring the product in which you deal in, again.
If it's not good, if the country is now saying that it's not good,
what is not good?
If the country defines it not to be good,
repairable salvage vehicles are not good. A car which comes sometimes with no dent, but maybe a key is missing, and so you just find a key to it, get a key programmer in Ghana here to reprogram the key for you. That is a bad car.
No, if your country's laws says that is not good, that is not good.
You see, let us not play the ostriches.
You may have
the template
why
on which
some are good, but if your law says that it's not allowed, because if your law, for instance, says that you are not supposed to bring a car that's above 20 years, you may have some cars that are above 20 years, but they are solid, they are clean, they are nice, they are good, and all of that. Somebody may have bought it, a senior man, he never used it, he kept it in his garage, it's become an antique, and he wants to dispose of it. But if your country's law says that, no, we don't take that, you just don't take that.
Have we spoken so bad about the law banning the over 10 years old vehicles? We haven't spoken so bad about it.
Is a salvage you have issues with?
We have issues with the salvage because you can have a 2017 or 2020 model car which is just scratched. And you don't tell me that car should be off the road.
A lot of people agree with you.
Let me tell you, with the template, okay, that we are looking on to develop this policy of ours from SC, South Africa, did we take that assignment on us as a country to really look into the kind of issues that the implementation of the ban of home use, total ban of home use vehicles or eventual ban of home use vehicles into SA is now causing their economy? There's a write-up, okay, which is now making us aware that the South African economy is losing not less than 40 billion rand, okay, on the importation of illegal home use vehicles, because to them importing home use vehicle into the country is now illegal. And now for the first time in SA we have black market in SA in automobile vehicles, because their laws prevents them from
importation of used ones.
And what
That's
happened,
used ones in general.
Exactly. But what happened is, you see,
it's been brought in.
It's being brought in anyway at the blind side, with the country's economy losing the revenue.
So that's a good point you have
And
made.
the reason why it is losing that revenue is because, you see, when you look at you know, the demand of automobile globally, okay, is affected by prices, which we all know. Is determined by the price. The demand is determined by price, and as well as the disposable income that is available to the customer, okay, as well as the innovation that pertains to these assemblies and the kind of vehicles which you are bringing in, as well as the information that individuals and customers do have in the cars that they want to purchase. When you look at Africans, and not just Africans, globally, okay, you realize that not everybody can afford a brand new car.
That's understood.
There are disadvantages in even getting a brand new car, which, if you
permit me, that's why nobody's forcing anyone to get a brand new car.
No, with this current law, you realize that
nobody's being forced to buy.
It's not a matter of forcing. It's a matter of
get a car under 10 years of age and it shouldn't be damaged.
Under 10 years of age. The issue here is not just a premium on the damage,
but
premium on the clean title.
So the clean title you have a problem with,
course,
and the salvage you think is too wide. The definition is too wide.
Because clean title vehicles, when purchased outside the country and imported here and cleared with a 35% increment on duties, definitely you will be getting close to getting a brand new car. How you get me? So
you have been discouraged from using that,
and eventually collapsing your business. Add that one. You are being discouraged, and eventually your capital will eat into the payment of the 35% increment.
Josh, 1 second. So let me say that the number that you should WhatsApp is already on. Quite a number of messages are already in. I'm going to read them, and I am told that you have to call the following number. Okay. The number that you can WhatsApp is 0559019177. The one that you should call is 0302948901. 0302948901. it should be on the screen. So that's the number that you can call if you want to share your thoughts with us. But I would give Clement the thought. Clement, you've heard all the arguments that's been put forward by Joshua. He still feels that, you know, that something ought to be done. He has proposed that we should rather, instead of looking at a wider definition of salvage, we should have some bit of restricted or a more closer definition of it that looks at only the repairable, the salvage repairable ones. What do you make of all those arguments making?
Well, before I come to that, let me respond to some statistics that he
has put across.
Yes, he said in UK and in US last year or thereabout, people rather made purchases. That is, they bought used cars more than brand new cars. But he used some operative word there. That is a refurbishment, which means those cars were maybe either involved in an accident or had some, repairs on them. And after those repairs had been done, then it was sold. If we want to bring in such vehicles, I think they don't have problem. Once those vehicles have been refurbished over there, definitely they'll get the clean title and then bring it whilst waiting for the amendment of the law. But regarding the definition of the salvage vehicle, I don't know what I have to say more about it, because he has the understanding clear. He has the understanding clear, and the only option that we have right now is what the minister told us. So I don't want to say to my brother again. What I'll tell him is to let him exercise patience. As far as I'm concerned, they are not going to be out of business. They still have the opportunity of bringing in 1 to 10 years car, which is accident free. Also, buy them until the amendment of the law. Regarding our brothers, the artisans, they still have work to do. Cars will definitely get involved in accidents here. People will send their vehicles, for body works and then respray them. People will definitely go to workshop, to mechanics for them to repair their cars for them. And let me tell you, those the vehicle representatives here, like the auto parts, like the Japan Motor, like the CFAO, they still come to Abosokai and purchase parts here. They come to Abosokai and buy parts. You see, so if the assemblers come, it's not that we are going to be put out of business. No, they'll still come to Abosokai and buy parts. And even we are even looking at even the opportunity, to partner government, for government to try as much as possible to, fund it, so that we can also get, 1 or 2 machines to be producing, some small parts to feed the assemblers.
Okay.
So definitely, we are not going to be out of business. We will still be in business. So we should exercise patience. If the law is implemented and it takes off, definitely our concerns, will be addressed by the minister as he promised.
Okay, but that is the part that, Clement, I would want us to really look at how we communicate that to the public, because that is also very important. Now, for a country, a rule of law country like ours, you want the law to be very clear to people, and people should not sort of think that, okay, I can be considered, okay, there is something here. No, let's go straight and let them know that the law says so. But can we not give them assurances that, okay, just comply, a few days, we will do this, and then they will be hoping for it. If this is the way the country is going, can you let your members know that this is the way the country is going and we should all comply? Nobody should just import this. But if you are giving them some leeway, there's a possibility that, they will take it, will amend this. Can we be straightforward to people and be clear enough to people?
No, like I told you, for now, we need them to understand that from now up to 1st November, whatever vehicle that you want to bring, you should bring it. After 1st November, whether the vehicle is salvage vehicle or the vehicle is above 10 years, and you bring it, it will be confiscated.
Thank you.
We've made them clear to understand that.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got Victoria from Pokuase on the line. This one from WhatsApp says, hi, I agree with the gentleman in the studio. If the government is saying we should import clean title cars, is duty going to be reduced because most clean title cars cost as much as 80% of the MRSP, coupled with the cost of shipping and extremely high rate of import duties, which will sum up to the MRSP or even more. Now, let's talk about the jobs for the sprayers and straighteners. We are all aware that in Ghana, most brand new cars are bought by government agencies and companies, which they usually take to the dealership for repairs and maintenance. So my question, on top of it, how many average Ghanaians can buy brand new cars? It's longer, so I can just read up to that side. Victoria, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, Victoria.
I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening, Victoria. Go ahead, please. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. What I wanted to say was, the people are discussing over there. The issue is now, this is going to bring a lot of problems to we that we normally buy cars from these dealers. Now, if you go to the net and check the cars that are there and their prices, it has just shot up because of now the certain cars that are going to be banned in this country. And
why has that pushed the prices of the cars on the internet? Victoria, you are going to have to please help us tune. Please help us turn down the volume of your radio of your
go
TV.
to the net and check, because now if it's being implemented, you will see that a lot of I've turned it down.
Good, please. So you now make the submission, then we can hear you clearly.
Okay, because I can say I wanted to buy a car. Then I went to the net and checked it around 2 weeks ago, and the prices were okay. But when I was ready to buy it now, and I just shot up. Because of that is what the dealers are saying.
No, but Victoria, the auction sites that you visit, the other people in every other country, including Azerbaijan, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere, they visit the same site. Why would they increase their prices just because Ghana says that they don't want salvage cars? Okay, so you can think about that and get back to us. Hello, Ethiopia. Hello. Ethiopia is assembling electric Hyundai cars for their use and for export to other African countries. Egypt is assembling electric cars just as well. Check it out. It's on this site, and Ghana should ban these used vehicles. Look at the age threshold, etc. Let's raise our standard and improve our efforts in sanitizing our environment. We are fond of used cars, clothes, etc. What's wrong with us? Kind regards. Pierre sent this one. This one says, right-hand drive cars brought into Ghana when changed to the left does never get in good shape. So this one is against the right-hand drive as well. This one says, okay. I'm watching from Kumasi, Vadak chairman. The politician think they, okay, Vadak chairman, okay. So you may have to come because we do something that is in the interest of country. We don't look at politicians and what they are looking for. Good evening. I am surprised at Mr. Boaten's submission that the law should be implemented before amending it. Mr. Boaten taking take a look at the so-called cheap cars assembled in Ghana. Accidents are caused by a driver's own negligence and recklessness, not these cars. Kwame from Tema sent that one. Good evening, Samuel. The government's position is not in good taste, and I'm not sure that Mr. Boateng is not being straightforward. I think that we should have clear understanding, because I fear for the thousands of car dealers. Mr. Boateng said it straightforward that you are not being told never to bring any car into the country. They're saying that the car should not be damaged. You can still bring second-hand vehicles. That's what the law is saying. So, this was says, good evening. Will the new assembly cars in Ghana be scrapped when just 2 months after purchase involves in a minor accident? I doubt that would happen, because the accident that you had, nobody knows how you got it. You can just go and drive into some wall. Joshua is laughing at you. Good evening, sir. Please, I'm Issa Adams from Sefi, Dibeso. I need this type of car, and can I clear it? Okay. Your pickup is nice, but you may have to look at it. If it's not salvage, you can clear. Good evening, sir. I want to know if the ban on importation of salvage vehicles includes salvage motorcycles, that is Morris. Does it include that? Motorcycles? No, it's motor vehicles. Motor vehicles. So cycles are not part. How can you implement a law, go back and amend? Is a total waste of time. I think if we implement, we should just implement. If you want to amend, amend before. Okay. This one says, when the car is fixed from the country of origin, it's still a salvage title, or is yeah? So that's. Hi, I don't think the gentleman in the studio is making a good case. These salvage vehicles are dangerous and should be rightly banned by the government. Besides, most importers buy the parts from abroad before shipping these vehicles. Therefore, the Aboso Kain argument does not hold. This is from Nana Kotoka International Airport, is where he sent. Sorry?
I hope he's using a brand new car.
He doesn't have to use it, but if he thinks he has an argument that
all
thinks
the
that
home
is
used
sound,
vehicles, about 90% of all the home used
a lot of
vehicles
people will be out of job. Simple.
repairable salvage
Let's
vehicles.
talk the truth from Nana Boateng in East Legon. That is his view, but on the contrary, people have also been assured that, please, can accidents car come in after 1st November, because I need it, because I heard it has been cancelled. So after 1st November, that is what we are discussing. You are not allowed to bring in the salvage vehicles. Please, good evening. Please ask Mr. Clement Boateng, did they have any issues with the Act? If yes, what is the issue they had with the Act? He has heard you and he will respond. I think he's even said that already. Goes on and on. We'll deal with the rest later on. So, Josh.
Yes, I mean,
people think that you should take it easy and that wait, if we tend to have any difficulty with this law, the system will consider it, representatives will take it into Parliament, and then it would be considered accordingly. For now, the interest of the country, according to government of the day, says that let's protect the lives of the people, let them live and survive in good cars that are in good condition. They shouldn't be damaged. They shouldn't go beyond 10 years of age. Why should that be a difficult task to comply with?
You see, first and foremost, I would want to emphasize that these concerns that we are raising.
The producers just drew my attention to Ampedu from Weja, who is on the line. Let me pick him. Hello, Ampedu. Hello, Ampedu. Yes, good evening, sir.
How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Okay, can we get Mr. Ampedu fixed back on the line if he's off? Ohima from Tema says, good evening, Iron Port. Mr. Boateng seems to have a lot of faith in our politicians. Well, good for him. We should wait for the law to be implemented and then try to get an amendment. Okay, this one says, Mr. Opoku Ajiman, you have valid points, but where have you been since the discussion? Because several of dealers and stakeholders who have been on Iron Port have made it clear that all is going to be well when the law is implemented. Yeah, so that's a point.
This was what I wanted to talk about.
This one says, how many Ghanaians can afford brand new cars? Look at the supply chain. All these artisans are going to be out of business with no alternative source of livelihood. And that one, like I've been repeating, it doesn't look like that is entirely what it is. I mean, there may be some impact significantly, but you wouldn't say that everybody is going to be out of the business. Do we have Ampedu back online? Hello? Hello? Okay. Josh, you on your response before I go back to the
as I was saying, we've been around all this while during the drafting stages. This is a copy. This is a copy of the Ghana Automotive Development Policy. And this policy,
were you part of this?
This policy, yes, VADAC was part of it.
So from the beginning, what points did you raise? Did you raise these issues?
Exactly, that's what I'm coming about it. This policy was launched in August last year. And that's how come we had a copy. After getting a copy of it and reading through it, that is when we began writing series of letters to the ministry. With this one, the last one dated 21st February 2020, being the last one before the draft of the amendment was even sent to Parliament. But our concerns wasn't considered.
From the beginning?
Yes, that is what this is the copy that I have. And everything which is here, pertaining to the salvage, pertaining to the 35% increment and all that is in here, in the policy which was launched August 2019. And so we saw this. And that is when we needed, to have a discussion with the ministry. They granted us the forum. However, they didn't consider our concerns. That is how come the bill has been passed and we still have our concerns unaddressed. And now what they are saying is we should wait till it is implemented. Meanwhile, you never even corrected the issues we wanted even before it was passed.
Ominaku from La Paz is on the line.
So what is the assurance?
Ominaku. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Joshua, let him know that the law doesn't ban the importation of used car.
Okay.
The law is about overage and salvage car. So definitely there will be used cars imported into the country. So I don't see his problem. Used cars will forever come into Ghana, but they should bring in cars that are in good shape. So if he wants to bring in salvage cars, you should go to wherever he mentioned in the US that people buy salvage cars. Those cars have been repaired and put in good shape. So that's what we also want here in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Point well made. Now, good evening. I use a salvage vehicle, and to be honest, I have regretted so much. I have spent so much such that I could have gone in for a clean vehicle or brand new. Nana from Kotoka International again, because I'm sure, the same person. When you asked about whether he used it. My name is Selom. I think we should start banning the importation of commodities such as rice and sugar that we are able to produce in this country. We should do this first before having a conversation about salvage cars. How are we going to be able to buy brand new cars when we don't have any car financing products by our financial institutions to support this? We should start by banning the importation of cars with deployed airbags, but really, I don't think the country is ready for this. So that's exactly what the law is saying, that if you have a car that doesn't have an airbag or is accidented and all of that, those are the ones that you are not supposed to bring in. It doesn't say that don't bring a second hand.
Vehicles which do not have airbags deployed. I've explained to you.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying.
So if you say salvage, under the blanket term salvage, then
Bafo is calling from East Legon. I'll come back to you, Ajingo. Hello, Bafo. Hello, Bafo.
Hello? Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, Bafo, go ahead.
Yeah, this importation thing, I think I'm supporting Joshua in the video there. Basically, people are actually saying what he's saying is not actually holding, but what he's saying is actually making sense. What he said earlier on, like people get access and people to get jobs to do. All those things are just not too feasible in a way. Because looking at the kind of import that is coming to the country recently, people bring in a lot of cars, which actually let me say the guys that can work on it. They get much more money from that than this locally repairs that they have been doing. I don't know if you get the point I'm making.
I do.
Yeah. So in a way, me, I thought for Joshua in the studio saying, because that's the best way for it. If you actually try and reconsider the cars that will be coming in, if you look at it from a certain angle, like they should watch the car accident that they have. If it's repairable, it's not too much. The guys, they can sort it out and they'll get something to eat. You understand?
Okay, so the number that you can call is on the screen. It's 0302. That's the number that you should call. Please do not call the WhatsApp line. Once you call the WhatsApp line, that's where people were reading other comments from. So the number that you can call is 0302294890. This one says, good evening, sir. My name is Moses and I work at Abosokai as an auto electrician. Recently I fixed a 2017 Toyota Highlander truck for a client, and the car is salvaged at the back, but he fixed the back abroad before bringing it. So at the end of the day, our job is at stake. We're going to lose some part of the job, but certainly some part, I mean, you wouldn't have it all of
the
that.
impact
but
is going to be great. That we have to be specific.
And I'm surprised Mr. Boateng says is in support of the implementation before amendment. For us, we think that this conversation is very significant because it's important you understand we don't want to get to 1st November. And that's what the customs folks came here to say. And when your goods or your cars get at the port and it gets confiscated, people will now start making, and I'm sure that will come into the studio, people will make a lot of calls. I have brought a car, they have seized it, I have brought it. We don't want to get there. For now, the law says do not bring. The president has made it clear that when Parliament has passed an act, he doesn't have the powers to just pull it like that. It has to go through a certain process. That process would have to take time, but then there should be justification for that process to even commence in the first place. Josh thinks that process should start
as a matter of
ASAP.
fact, His
Mr. Boateng doesn't. Okay, so no, that is another one. Good evening once again. If the government says salvage vehicles contributes to road accidents, then any vehicle involved in an accident in Ghana should not be allowed to be reused, since that vehicle now becomes salvaged. You're already in Ghana, my brother. You enjoy the Ghana environment. Star Boateng from Anya, Accra says, it's sad to see people rise to positions and status where they can afford good cars and they forget where they started from. Exactly. Just move a little from the cities and do a bit of analysis on how owning a salvage car could be life-changing event for some people, including himself, he mentioned. I think we have a caller on the line. Who do we have on? Joshua from Ashaliboche, I think. Hello, Joshua. Is it Joshua?
Yeah, hello. Hello, I'm here.
Yes, Joshua, go ahead.
My question is very simple. I agree to some gentleman in the studio. What I'm also asking is, how many people here in Ghana are using brand new cars to start from? Hello?
We can hear you.
How many people in Ghana here are using brand new cars to start from?
But people are not being told to use brand new cars, are they?
How many people in Ghana can afford these brand new cars that we are talking about in here?
You are not being forced to use the brand new one. You are being encouraged to use the ones that are not accidented.
If
I am being encouraged to use that, then the ban is too strict on us.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the ban is too strict on us. See, we are talking about people going to lose their jobs, and the other saying, why don't we wait for the law to be passed and then later on we come in to do what have you? Swears are losing their job. Frustrated electricians, people are all going to lose their job.
It's good that you are making your point. I know for certain that those in authority.
If I may ask, how many of people that you know very close are working in Ghana?
Yeah. That's
how many?
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much, Joshua. And another Joshua, no, this one says, hi, Sammy, good kudos to Joshua, who is in the studio. He's made valid and important points that must be considered by the powers that be. This is the way we build country. We take in consideration what other views are. So that is it, indeed. That's why we're having this conversation. Definitely, government also need to listen to some other sides that probably has escaped them, and we all formulate something that would suit everybody. That's what government has even said, that all these are just in the interest of the people. Good evening. This is McLean speaking from Teshi. I'll be very happy for us to stop buying accident cars from abroad. If there is a car which doesn't have airbags inside the car, this is also going to kill the driver from saving the passengers. So I originally believe we need to stop buying some of these accident cars from abroad. So that's the one from Teshin. Boss, have we made any impact analysis to come to a conclusion that jobs at Abossey-Okai will be impacted? Please, if there is a study, it should be made available. These vehicles are dangerous. So do you have any assessment?
Sure, because
you have made assessment of your members who will be out of job.
Of course, I just quoted the figure for you.
What is it?
I'm talking about 7,700 VADAC members.
How did you come to that conclusion?
We have the data.
That says what? What are they doing that they will be out of job?
The thing is, what they import into the country are these repairable salvage vehicles. That is the sole business they do.
And they can't now begin to import cars that are not salvaged. They can't.
We are talking about 35.
Because you go online, the auction cars are there. There are salvaged ones.
No,
there are non-salvaged ones. You pick what you want.
Salvage auction cars basically are almost all salvaged. They are all salvaged. Clean title cars. We are talking about a car which hasn't been involved in any occurrence. Any occurrence, not an accident, even if it was a theft, as I said, if it was impounded, if it was abandoned, they are all salvage vehicles.
But they can start looking at cars that are within and import the clean title ones. And if those who want to repair, those who want to spray, they can't begin to look at other accidented cars in Ghana and repair them, and that will still make up for whatever.
So now, are we saying that they should go to work from morning and then relax there, waiting for a car in Ghana to have an accident?
There are a lot of cars, and
no. You see. Let's not downplay the importation.
I agree.
Don't let us downplay.
But you also have to churn
Don't
out
let us forget
you also
the
have to churn
35%
out some documents that is significant, because you are pushing the president to intervene in a matter that is very, very crucial. Parliament has sat and bring out this law. If you want the president to issue certificate of emergency, on a policy, a law that's been passed, you need something substantial, and that's what you need to come across. You need to bring across. Don't you agree? And that's what people are asking. They're asking for analysis.
As a matter of fact, they have.
Let me ask Clement before he leaves, because he's in Kumasi engaging some people as well. Okay. Hello, Clement.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so have we conscientized your members? You go to Kumasi Swami magazine, spare parts dealers everywhere across the country. Have we begun some sensitization, telling them that, look, this is here to stay, at least for now?
In the committee that was set up after our visit to the presidency, Kumasi Swami magazine people were also included in the committee, and we all, shared, the concerns that were raised. And when we went to the minister, they were also there. They understood clearly what the minister said. So I'm sure they will convey those messages to their members over there, let them understand the situation. What I want to say is that it seems people, don't understand the whole issue. They think second-hand vehicles are going to be banned, outright from the system. And I want to make it clear to them that it is not the case. It is 10-year vehicles which are going to be banned. It is not the entire second-hand vehicles that are going to be have the opportunity, to bring one to 10 years, and then will be allowed, to clear and then use it as they want. So get the understanding clear that it is only after 10 years that is going to be banned. And this, law, has been in the system. It's only that previously you were being allowed, to pay penalties regarding the ages that will be added to the 10 years. So people should get the distinction clear. And I just want to tell my brother he should be cool. They will not be out of business. We should take the minister's word, and I'm definitely sure that what the minister has said he will live to his word.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you very much, Clement Boateng. We're going to summarize and end somewhere here. I'll read this one quickly. It says, good evening. Please tell my brother that the law does not say you shouldn't bring cars from other countries. The law said salvage cars shouldn't be brought to Ghana, whether it's repairable or non-repairable. Tell my brother if he wants to bring them to Ghana, he can equally put them on a very good ship before bringing them to Ghana. Just that my brother doesn't want to understand. Meanwhile, you are a car dealer. You should know better and not be too aggressive. So we're going to have in the future, a very near one for that matter, have a standards authority also come to break it down for us, whether when the car has had accident before put in very good condition from country of origin, you can still be able to bring them back into this country. Quite a number of long messages. Don't be annoyed if I haven't been able to read yours yet. We'll probably find another forum. So watch tomorrow's edition on GH1 at 8:30 p.m. and also on Ghana Television on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Some of these comments will be shared on there. In the meantime, international port and maritime news on your screens.
Bulk carrier Badva collided with unnamed cargo ship in Port Harcourt, Nigeria on August 6. Badva is docked at Harcourt since July 27, and therefore it is reported that probably it happened during Badva shift or another cargo ship berthing. Badva was reportedly damaged to an extent that she is in need of repairs. Badva was struck by a stern of berthing bulk carrier Pluto and suffered hull breaches and gashes in starboard bow area, with some 4 mooring lines breaking. There was no information on Pluto damages, or probably slight. Crews on 2 more ships in Australia have refused to keep sailing, demanding repatriation as crew change crisis resulting from the COVID-19 travel restrictions further aggravates. The 2 ships, Conti Stockholm and Ben Rhines, join Alumina Karting Unison Jasper, which has been held up in Newcastle since last week, as reported by the International Transport Workers Federation, which added that the situation could result in economic carnage from clogged ports for the country. In the port of Fremantle, Perth, on Thursday, August 6, 2020, the container vessel Conti Stockholm was stopped. The Liberian flagship is owned by German company NSB Group. The island of Mauritius is facing an environmental catastrophe after oil began leaking from a grounded vessel. Mauritius on Thursday announced that oil was leaking from the bulk carrier Wakashio that had run aground in the southeast of the island in late July. The ship had no payload at the time, but was carrying over 200 tons of diesel and more than 3,800 tons of low-sulfur bunker fuel oil. The bulk carrier began to breach, releasing some of the bunker fuel. Boom is in place to prevent the oil from spreading, but all efforts to stabilize the vessel and pump up the oil failed so far due to bad weather conditions. The grounding happened at Point Disney, which is listed under the RASMA Convention on Wetlands of International Importance and near the Marine Park of Blue Bay. U.S.-headquartered dry bulk ship owner Genco Shipping and Trading Limited said that it has money to carry out crew rotations on approximately 70% of its fleet in recent months, despite various travel and port restrictions imposed due to COVID-19. This has resulted in the completion of crew changes involving over 800 seafarers since the onset of the pandemic. The company added that it was doing polymerase chain reaction testing of its crew members, as well as implementing a 14-day quarantine period prior to boarding a vessel. The Federal Transport Authority of the United Arab Emirates has reported that it has resumed crew change activities in all its ports and waters. The measure is being announced as UAE manages to contain the coronavirus pandemic, the impact of which has resulted in an unprecedented humanitarian crisis for seafarers across the globe. UAE was among the states committing to facilitate crew changes and grant key worker designation for seafarers, following a virtual ministerial summit hosted by the UK government on July 9, 2020. The seafarer community is in the midst of a mental health crisis due to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the seafarers' welfare and that of their families. The latest edition of the Seafarers Happiness Index, SHI, published by the Mission of Seafarers, shows the SHI is a barometer of the key issues facing those at sea today, and the latest report for the second quarter of 2020 reflects the responses from crew members globally against the backdrop of global crew change crisis precipitated by COVID-19. The report said the continuing decline of happiness at sea was largely due to the inability of seafarers to sign off and return home. Heavy workloads, virus fears, and the perceived lack of COVID-19 precautions on board vessels are exacerbating the decline in satisfaction.
Welcome back. So we are ending it, and some way, somehow, we were continuing the discussion, but we can't do that. Just that this comment goes to you. The guy in the studio is making a very basic and succinct point. His position is as clear as gin. That is what somebody sent to you. But the other one too says you must cool down and look at the direction government is going. Fortunately, I was privileged to have on the line, virtually joined by Clement Boateng, the co-chairman, Abosu Okain Spare Parts Dealers Association, and acting vice chair or president of GOVT. Also, Eric Kweku Boateng, the president of Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana, ADAG, joined us on the line. And in the studio here is my own man, Joshua Opoku Ajeman, the general secretary, Vehicle and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana. Like I said, you would have can tune in to tomorrow's edition on GH1, 8:30 p.m. and watch the abridged version. We will share most of the comments that you have sent here on that platform as well. Josh, thanks a lot for coming to the studio. But they say for cool down, Which block were you when you were in Commonwealth?
I was in E block.
E block.
Specifically E14.
Aha, no wonder.
I want to end by saying that, you know, laws are made for the people and not the other way around. All we are asking from His Excellency is that he should activate a sense of urgency with this amendment we are asking for and we are seeking for. We are not against the law in the first place, but however, the amendments which we have brought forth to him, he should see to them and make sure we are kept in business. And also, I will state categorically that why will the government introduce a 35% on a clean title if they are not in to discourage importation completely? Why would the government introduce 35% increment on clean titled vehicles, home use vehicles, if they are not discouraging importation completely? And also, if the government wants to only stop the importation of salvage cars or vehicles, why not the need to reduce duty for the clean titles instead?
I appreciate your time, Josh.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time, viewers. Also, I appreciate the immense contribution of our executive producers who are behind this program all the time. Mrs. A.C. Soderberg and Mrs. Esther Jevidonko, the producers of the program. Frank Gomelesio has been tremendously instrumental. Also, Joe Apia, producer for the day, has been very instrumental in bringing the program to you. Joseph was behind the camera. Bosompra, Henry, Alex is always backing and making it happen. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you same time next week. And make a date, because like I mentioned, VW just launched something. We're going to have the CEO come into the studio pretty shortly. We also have some clarity from Standards Authority. Just get understanding, because the ports need you to be in business so that the port will also be in business. See you next time.